Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver
Hey guys,
now.
Bix Weir, roadrunner.com. With your morning horn disease, your sip of chaga coffee. Keep taking your chaga. Vitamin D. Get ivermectin on hand. They're going to pull the bullshit again. But beyond that, amazing stuff happening right now as we speak with silver. As you know, I used to talk about everything. Now it's like 99% of what I talk about is silver because it is the most important thing you can do to save your financial ass. Get as much physical silver in your possession. Physical silver in your possession. Go to your local coin shop, load up what they got. Bring a truck, bring it home, figure out where you're going to hide it, and then pull out a lawn chair and watch this insanity. It is so insane that some of my inner circle is talking about maybe we are the alien wars that Cliff Hyatt talked about. Maybe we are entering into that with all these strange fires popping up and all this chaos. Maybe not. Is it man-made? Is it natural? Clearly, it's not human done because we're burning fossil fuel. That was always a con, but it's something. So just keep your eyes and ears open. I'm hoping it ain't the aliens because what an easy way to take us out. Us not even knowing we're at war, right? Beyond that, let's just go back to silver. Let's ground ourselves in silver. I'll be talking to Jenny Moonstone today. There's something I need to get from her as far as, is this it? Is this the real one? Is this the last time that the bankers pull their bullshit? Or do we have some more in the future? She'll get that right away, which is great. Go check out all the readings and discussions on the private road at the Road to Ruta. Check out Jenny Moonstone's Patreon site. She's on fire. It's really cheap, too. It's like $17, I think, something like that. Go to Patreon, Jenny Moonstone. Yeah, if you're not into that stuff, that's cool. No big deal. But it has helped a hell of a lot of people on the Road to Ruta, I'll tell you that. Okay, here we are. We are hovering above the three moving averages, the 50, 100, and 200-day moving averages. Yes, these tech traders, they literally have to cover now. So I don't think many have covered yet because we just popped up above it yesterday. The volumes are off the charts. Look at this. That's 125,000 contracts just yesterday. 600, I wrote it down here. 625 million ounces traded hands on the derivative market yesterday. That's what it took to push the price over those moving averages. Who knows? Probably 99% of the banks trading back and forth to each other. That's 80% of full year mine production. These criminals at the COMEX in the United States of America, by the way, the rest of the world sees right through this bullshit. Yes, the Bank of China was a Road to Ruta member way back when, and they signed up as the Bank of China. It could have been phony, I know, but this is like 10 years ago. They know everything that's going on in silver market manipulation. They got a full grasp on everything and how it came about. Who wrote the first computer programs to create the financial system? Alan Greenspan. Who was his mentor? Arthur Burns, the head of the Fed. Who wrote the first computer trading programs to rig the markets? Alan Greenspan, implemented and has been run out of the Fed ever since the Exchange Stabilization Fund, along with the bullion banks.
The Apple IIc and money.
People in high places are always asking me, Alan, where does the money go? If you wonder the same thing, I suggest an Apple IIc, an Apple modem. Then you can call up your bank and see how much money you have. You can even pay off your bills automatically. If you have any money left over, congratulations. You're doing better than the government is.
The Apple IIc. There's no telling how far it can take you.
Now, sometimes the bullion banks get a little out of hand, like Bear Stearns, and they have to take them down. It's all click of a mouse stuff, my friends. Russia knows it. Putin went to the first GATA conference up in Canada, in the Yukon, in the middle of nowhere. Putin's number one financial advisor went to check that out instead of going to this big financial conference that coincided with the same time. All the really people in the know went to that one, and Putin's head guy went to the GATA conference. I love that. It's a classic. And that was a long time ago. They know exactly what you know, that the markets are rigged by computers and derivatives. And the derivatives, this is the derivative market, the COMEX. That's the only place they price silver. So go to your local coin shop, load up. Buy anything under silver, under $30. Anything you can get your hands on. And keep buying. In physical, keep it in your own possession. If you don't have a local guy, contact Andy Scheckman, Miles Franklin, info@MilesFranklin, or Will Lair, will@perpetualassets.com. Check out their site if you want to take your IRA retirement and shift it into a self-directed IRA. Go check that out, perpetualassets.com. All right, so let's get into the numbers. Something really interesting happened yesterday, or in the last 3 days. You know, I've been screaming, swap all your gold for silver. If you love gold and you hold gold, swap it all for silver now until the ratio becomes something closer to what it should be, and then go back to gold. You're going to buy 10 times, you'll have 10 times the amount of gold you have right now. And that is coming true as we see the gold-silver ratio has dumped in the past 5 days from 84.5 to 1 down to 78.8 to 1. That is going to keep dumping and keep dumping. It will hit what people think, oh, that's normal, like 30 to 1. That's not normal. That's still a rigged number. They'll get down to 15 to 16 to 1. People say, oh, historically, it's 15 to 16 to 1. That's the historical high, so I think it's going to stop there. No, it's not going to stop there. You can't look at gold and silver physical ratio historically because we've burned up all the silver. It was 50 billion ounces of silver, 50 to 55 billion ounces of silver have been mined. Wait, hold on. 50 to 60 billion ounces have been mined. And literally, the 90% of that of silver is gone. That's the problem with price rigging, price suppression, is silver has remained cheap for so long. It's embedded in everything we use: solar panels, flat screen TVs, electric cars, your cell phone, your computer, your iPhone, smart bombs. It's in everything and it is being consumed in everything. 60% of the new silver that comes out of the ground goes back into the junk heap around the world, with 60% goes into what we use today, mainly in electronics. Solar power is the cruelest of all jokes because it is exploding higher. The use of solar powers is exploding higher, and the projections are off the charts. Off the charts. We're going to switch to solar power. It'll be so great. We're going to use over 100% of all the silver. That means you get no cell phone. You don't get no flat screen TV. There will be substitutes, but they won't work as well as silver, the number one conductor of electricity on the planet. So everything is broken and backwards because of the market rigging, because of the criminality within the United States of America government and banking system. And the greatest sign to say, how do you know that, Bix? How about this? The BRICS just added Saudi Arabia and the UAE, and there's lines of people to get in to the BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And now it's Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates. So it's the BRICS, BRICSSU, BRICSU. They're going to stop adding names. I don't think they're going to change the name of the BRICS. And they're rejoicing because they know what you know, that the United States, the only reason the United States became a financial powerhouse is they controlled the computer programs that rigged the markets. That's it. Well, Bix, so what about the U.S. military? I don't even think the U.S. military can stand up to the BRICS, truthfully. Russia and China at the same time. I mean, that's a it's a recipe for a disaster. We need to get that jackass out of the people behind the jackass in the presidential suite. We need to get the people. He's nothing. He's a weekend at Bernie's. The people behind him are dangerous criminal pedos. We need to get rid of them. All right, back to silver, what's going on? Yes, they're holding it. Right now, we're above the moving averages by about $1. It takes like a pretty big bump because, as you can see, they did it here. They slammed it down below the 200-day moving average, and they brought it up, and then they slammed it down again. This is below over all three moving averages, so I don't know what they have in store. It doesn't matter if you have your physical silver in your possession. If they slam the price to minus $40, you still have an ounce of silver. You bought an ounce of silver, you'll still have an ounce of silver. The purchasing power is going to go up massively. So what should the ratio be if it's not 16 to 1 when freely traded? A lot of people say what it's coming out of the ground at, 7 to 1. I don't believe that. Remember, 60% gets thrown into landfills in your solar power EVs. No matter what it is, it's still consuming. The machine is grinding up all the silver. Silver will take its day as the number one best monetary asset very soon. So if it's less than 7 to 1, let's use the ratio of 60%. 60% is going to be used of silver mined is going to be used and thrown away in the electronics world and other forms of industrial silver. So that leaves us at 3 to 1. 3 to 1 ratio. Right now it's 79 to 1? But don't stop there. There's so much more gold than they tell you. And I've proven it a million times with the gold in the Grand Canyon, the gold in the banks of the Colorado River. Nobody even, why even argue against that? Because I've got all the information. It's just uneconomic to mine. Well, there you go, Bix. They're not going to pull it out of the ground. Yeah, at $10,000 silver, you don't think they're going to pull out billions and billions of ounces out of the sand of the Colorado River? And there's more within the Grand Canyon, by the way. But just all you got to do is say, hey, this was a massive, massive gold find, the biggest find in the history of mankind back in the early 1900s, before they locked it all up. Woodrow Wilson, the guy who signed the Federal Reserve Act, locked up the Grand Canyon, above it, below it, all along the Colorado River. You can't mine there. You can't mine there. No, I'm not in favor of ripping up the Grand Canyon to get the gold. It's not even necessary. There's gold all around the world. Chocolate Mountain in California. Dianne Feinstein locked up 40%, over 40% of California into national parks and saved the wild desert toad. No, it's all massively rich gold areas that they found and they locked it up. Same with the oil up in Alaska off of Gull Island. Look it up. It was 200 years of oil they found there, and they capped it back in the 60s. You got to look behind the curtain or you're not going to know what's going on. And all this is going to come out very soon. And then Yamashita's Gold, anybody who's read that book and especially got all the evidence. I mean, I have 2 CD-ROMs full of documents proving that there's over 300,000 tons. Over 300,000 tons in just that part of the world, in those caves in the Philippines. There's so much evidence out there. Don't close your eyes to it. Oh, but they don't talk about that in the media, Bix. Only 200,000 tons of gold has ever been mined in history. Jeffrey Christian told me so. Yeah, good old Jeff. He's posting a lot, by the way, on YouTube. You always know when the bad guys are running scared, they throw a little Jeff out there to try to talk you out of your gold and silver purchases. All right. So if it's not 79 to 1, it's not 30 to 1, it's not 16 to 1, it's not even 1 or 7 to 1 because that's what's coming out of the ground. It's not even 3 to 1 for investment silver. What should it be? Well, there's 6 billion ounces of investable silver, supposedly. I don't think there is, but that's what they say. And there's 6 billion ounces of investable gold. That ratio keeps changing because all the gold that gets mined out of the ground gets thrown back in the ground in a vault. 60% of the silver is mined and then thrown away. So it should be less than 1 to 1. I'm going by the golden ratio. If you don't know what the golden ratio is, it is a number. I mean, in mathematics, 2 quantities are in a golden ratio if their ratio is the same as the ratio between the sum of the larger of the 2 quantities. This has all got to do with that Fibonacci stuff that all the tech traders love to death. They just don't know why they love it to death and why it works so well. The Fibonacci sequence. Ask any tech traders what that is, and they're going to tell you and show you how it works. This golden ratio can be found everywhere on the planet, in nature, in everything we do. If you look up the golden ratio, you're going to see it in mathematics. You're going to see it in, it's huge, Fibonacci's, obviously. But it's also in, I think, the golden spiral. There it is. That's the golden spiral. You'll see it in seashells. You'll see it in flowers. You see it everywhere on the planet. It is ingrained within us. It works all kinds of mathematical formulas. It is an amazing thing. You see it in architecture, art, books, flags, music, nature, physics, optimization. And you see it a lot, although they call it the Fibonacci. And now Fibonacci numbers, it is the golden ratio. So Bix, what is the golden ratio? What should it be? 1.618. 1.618 to 1, I think, will be the gold-silver ratio. So this is the amount of gold you can get by swapping your gold for silver today. And it goes to whatever is it's supposed to be, a freely traded relationship between gold and silver. I think I'm looking for 1.618. And I don't know which is going to be more valuable. Probably silver rather than gold, because it's more useful. I mean, what would Apple Computer pay for silver if they can't make their computers? Can't make them run properly. Can't put a hundredth of an ounce in an iPhone so that the battery or the antenna is not working well. All that stuff. What will those people pay for silver if they can't get any more? What would Elon Musk, the richest guy, one of the richest guys in the world, pay for silver if he can't get it anymore? No more Tesla cars, no more Tesla solar panels. No more space flight. It's massive in space because it's the best conductor of electricity. You don't need a lot, but you do need it. That's why I think the golden ratio is what we should be looking at. 1.618 to 1. Then I'll start talking about, well, if it starts going even farther that way, past 1 to 1, I'll say, who knows? I think in the future, because the gold does have massive value, absolutely, as a store of wealth. Okay, that's what it's used for. It's obviously its closest competition would be Bitcoin, besides silver, obviously, because gold gets its ass kicked by silver at these prices. Oh, I know. I've been screaming this forever, but it's coming to a head, and we'll find out more as the week. Oh, by the way, tomorrow they have to release the COT report again. Ted Butler called this to the T. Issued a red alert 1 month ago to the CFT, all the regulators. Now, I noticed yesterday I talked about the three regulators of gold and silver. There's actually 4, because I forgot one of them. The obvious is the CME, self-regulated entity. It's like giving the mouse and the cheese thing. They're not going to do anything about it because that's who they are. They are controlled by their partners in crime. Next is the CFTC, which is supposed to regulate commodities. They're in bed with the riggers. 2 of the members are ex J.P. Morgan and Citibank employees. Okay, so it's not those 2. The OCC, the Office of Comptroller of Currency, a guy named Greg Coleman, is the guy who hides the silver data in the gold data. And it was so obvious at the time because we were seeing right through their con. J.P. Morgan was leasing 1 billion ounces of silver to Bank of America. And we saw it all in the data. And then Greg Coleman, the head of large bank supervision at the OCC, hid that data. And he changed his picture, by the way. He had this old picture of him young. He's actually an old guy now. And I was there the day before. If you were with me back then, the day before and the day after, there's this young guy. I'm thinking, wow, he must be in his late 30s, early 40s. And, the day later, it changed his picture, and he's all gray-haired and old. Yes, he used to work for J.P. Morgan as well. It's incredible how J.P. Morgan has played this con. And then the final, number 4, is, although it's coming at it from a different realm, The Federal Reserve is the regulator of the big banks. The big banks are the ones being used to rig the market. I don't know the full commitment of the United States Treasury Exchange Stabilization Fund to the well-being of the banks anymore. I have the Road to Ruta stuff that came out of the Fed. It talks about the little guy overthrowing the big banks and destroying the big banks. Print money to infinity, soak up all the benefits, and then pull the plug. When do you pull the plug? When you start losing the game. When has the United States started losing the game? Right now. Right today. They signed a pact. Putin, hail first BRICS expansion in over a decade by adding Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates have been formally invited to become members. And then next year, they're adding Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, and Iran. We are losing the game, my friends. We are absolutely losing the game. Look at this chart here. Oh, by the way, check out Putin toasting this. This is just rubbing it in Biden's face right here. Look at who else toasts. Look at Xi right here. There he goes. They're like, those American jackasses, they're all cheersing. It's hysterical. It's not hysterical. It's sad for my country, but I don't want to live in a country that has to rig every market on the planet to distort everything and lie and cheat and steal. We have gone so far from our Constitution. And it's going to be blown apart, blown sideways. Hang on tight. The only way you survive is assets in your own possession. Yes, I think cryptos are going to be the number one asset for the future, but the future is not happening right now. The future has to get blown apart. The past has to get blown apart for the future to kick in. And that's where we come to this time in our history. I've been playing this game since 1999, figuring out everything I could about market manipulation and why it's so important that they manipulate the markets. The United States would not be the United States without massive market manipulation. It goes back over a century in silver to the 1850s, to the Opium Wars. Opium Wars was all about getting silver back into England. Creation of HSBC. So keep that in mind. Keep an eye out. So much going on right now. Another thing that happened yesterday, a 25 million ounce exchange for physical. So COMEX contracts rolling over to the LBMA for delivery, 25 million. That is going to put us, right now it puts us, this is Harvey Organ's blog, harveyorganblog.com. As of yesterday, day before yesterday was 107 million. Add the 25, we're at 132 million. The all-time high for a month is right, where is it? Right here. March of 2022, there was 207 million. We might blow by the all-time high of people scrambling to get silver right before a massive delivery month. Now, on the COMEX, I don't think we'll see it on the COMEX because we haven't for the last couple of years, as they've been hiding the data and they deliver it over at the LBMA. So it makes sense that you have 25 million ounces of physical contracts going over to LBMA for delivery because they don't want anything to do with the regulators. That's how they took down the Hunt brothers. They just closed them off of the COMEX. So I doubt this. There's 39,000 contracts, about 200 million ounces ready to stand for delivery of open interest. But as we get closer to the last day, which is next Thursday, so we got a week left, this will chip down to almost nothing, is my estimation. Unless it's the good guys. And remember, you can buy 1,000 contracts in a single day and ask for delivery that day theoretically on this criminal exchange. But who would really just do your exchange for physical? Go get silver wherever you can. This is the end game, my friends. The end game. All right, what else is going on? That's huge. This is huge. More on that later. Wall Street on parade. Deposits at 25 largest banks are setting lower lows as smaller banks' deposits set higher highs. So remember that whole thing during the beginning of the year. Oh my God, everybody's getting out of the regionals and putting their money into the large banks because they're too big to fail, which is a horrible philosophy. I mean, just a terrible philosophy if you look at, how should we run our financial system? Oh, let's give it to the big banks because they may be more corrupt and have more problems, but they'll always be bailed out. So far, everybody's been bailed out. The moment they stop bailing people out is the moment everybody runs and gets their money out. And in a fractional reserve game, it's over. Poof. The Fed knows that. They know they have to bail out every bank. But then it's, moral corruption, moral contagion. I don't remember what they call. But everybody is offsides in the banking industry because they're fractionally reserved. No bank has your money sitting there ready to give it to you. As a matter of fact, with the interest rates going up, the end of the month is when the FDIC will come out and say, Houston, we have a problem. And they've gone up even more because at the end of this month, they released their quarterly report. Anyway, hang on tight for that. I'll talk more about that in the coming days. If you want to join the private road, as soon as silver hits $30, this giveaway is going away. The Ruta Lives coin will be put into the cupboard, and we won't be giving these away. So if you want a Ruta Lives coin, order it now. We don't sell them. We give them away with a 1-year subscription to the private road, where you get all kinds of juicy stuff. So go check it out. Hit subscribe today. You can get free updates here on the left side at roadtoruta.com. And we are at the end game, so hold on to your hats. I'll talk to you later.